be making a poblano and pepper jack chicken sausage. First thing I do with sausage is get all my equipment into the freezer. Keeping your equipment cold is the most important part when we're making sausage. Here are my ingredients. To start, I've got 2 pounds of boneless skinless chicken thighs, 6 ounces of pepper jack cheese, and a half pound of bacon. So now I've taken the chicken and the bacon and cut it into chunks, and the cheese I've cut into a very small cube dice. I'm going to run the chicken and the chicken only through the coarse die. My grinder has a coarse and a fine die. So initially we're just going to run the chicken through the coarse die. You can also buy pre-ground chicken thighs at some stores. So here's the poblano I'm going to use. It's a medium-sized poblano. They come in different sizes. What I'm going to do is char this one on my grill until it's kind of black on the outside and the peel starts to lift off. And then I'm going to seed it and chop it. For my seasoning mix for this, I have first of all a 1/4 cup of chicken stock. And for the dry seasoning, I have 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, 2 teaspoons of white pepper, a half teaspoon of chipotle powder, a half teaspoon of cumin, a half teaspoon of ancho chili powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of Mexican oregano dried, 1 teaspoon of dried cilantro. And that's it for my dry seasoning mix. Now we've got our ingredients all together in one bowl, except for the cheese. And the next step is we're going to run them all through the grinder on the smaller, the fine die. So once we get it all mixed together, we'll get it back through the grinder, and then we'll get it on the paddle attachment, and we'll mix in the cheese also with it. All right, everything but the cheese is in here, and we're going to run it through the grinder. Notice the bowls are all chilled again. Make sure you're chilling everything between all your equipment 20 to 30 minutes in the freezer just to keep it nice and cold. You can also pack your stuff around it's put the bowl inside another bowl of ice. But I like to just throw it in the freezer in between. Keep the meat in it for about 15-20 minutes between. It just kind of firms it up and it's easier to get through the grinder, especially when you're working with chicken. So here we go. We're going to grind this now through the fine, all mixed together. Okay, back in the stand mixer with the paddle attachment on, which was also in the freezer, and we're going to mix this just for a few seconds here and throw the cheese in with it and get the cheese incorporated into the sausage. We don't want to mix too much. We don't want it to become a paste. This is also important while you keep your bowls chilled. You just don't want to over mix your sausage. So 5 feet of sausage casings is what we're going to use for this batch. I like to buy the ones that are already in liquid. Sometimes you can get them at butcher shops. They work much better than the ones that are dried and packed in salt. Those ones just seem to always rupture when you're halfway through a coil or trying to put your links together. They just seem more difficult to work with. These are much better. I've been getting these from a butcher shop. Sometimes you got to buy them in bulk is the only thing. So here we go. This is ready to go on the smoker. I'm going to let it dry in my refrigerator overnight. I like to get like a little pellicle on there. I'm going to be smoking with cherry. I just got some really nice cherry that I picked up from my wood guy. It looks like it's going to be a fantastic cook. This will take probably about an hour at around 200 degrees. I want it to be 165. Here's my final product. Looks really good. Got some cheese busting out there, but it looks really good. And here's a look at the inside, the melting cheese, and you can see the poblanos.